the director of the 1 Million Black Business Initiative, my colleague, Jessica Bergeron. Jessica, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm just so excited to talk to you about this new initiative. As Bill said, Black businesses have been decimated by COVID, and we have a big opportunity right now at our fingertips to really change not just what's happening today, but what's happening in the future for our children and our grandchildren. Black businesses and in general, Black generational wealth it's just not been the same. It's just not the same. We have systemic barriers to success of Black businesses that have to be removed, and we have to be intentional, and we have to target those things. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what some of those systemic barriers are. For us at Operation Hope, 1MBB is an opportunity to work on those barriers, to build opportunities for our clients. And after I talk to you about these pillars, I'll give you some more information about how you can sign up for 1MBB and who's eligible and all of that. So Bill, would you mind sharing our pillars for 1MBB? These are let me just
make sure everybody can see those, yeah?
Thank you, Bill. So these pillars are, like, as I said, they have represented some systemic barriers for Black businesses. When we start collecting research and we start talking about Black businesses, these are the things that really are either significant barriers or they are opportunities for success. So 1MBB is going to turn these things into opportunities for success. The first pillar is about creating coalitions, and that's a big part of what's already happening in New York. Creating people, bringing them together, convening them, and providing people opportunities to learn, to grow, to network, to create sponsorships and mentors within a city or a municipality. The second area is about examining practices. So corporations, businesses, cities, all kinds of folks who can clear the pathway for Black businesses really kind of have to turn that camera back on themselves and ask themselves questions about how their policies, how their practices and their processes either contribute to the problem or contribute to solutions. The third pillar is about equitable access to capital. I cannot emphasize how important this pillar is for Black businesses when statistically Black businesses do not get access to the same level of capital as other businesses. So a Black business is more likely to have to reach into their own pocket in order to fund their business. And when they do have access to capital, they don't get as much access in terms of dollars and cents. And so what we see is a lot of Black businesses statistically are sole proprietorships, meaning they don't have any employees. So they're kind of limited to the growth that they have. Access to capital means that they can grow and they can get bigger. And that means more revenue and more profit. So access to capital for 1MBB is a huge target and intentional point of making sure that we clear away some of those barriers. Pillar 4 is an area that Operation Hope has been operating in for a long time. We offer business learning courses, including a build a business plan, also entrepreneurship training program that really allows people anybody who even if you just have a seed of an idea, all the way to businesses that are already established can learn from these business training programs. These business training programs are really important, even for existing businesses who might even have questions about, say, what to do around tax season or what happens each year. How do I evaluate the health of my business? So pillar 4 is something that is just really about building capacity, building knowledge and skills to make sure that your business is not only up and running, but thriving and has sustainability for the long term. The last pillar is about mentorship and sponsorship. And just like access to capital, this is a huge part of sustainability for Black businesses. Making sure that they understand that, or making sure that they have access or opportunities to connect with other people who are business owners so that they're not working in isolation. If a Black business owner has been affected with COVID, they need opportunities for mentors and they need opportunities for sponsors to help them get over that hump. Sometimes it's really just about supporting the business owner who, sort of lonely at the top, to be able to build confidence and skills and opportunity for them to really continue on and give them that pep talk or that connection with other people to let them know that they can do it. So let me tell you, so those are the pillars of Operation Hope and 1MBB. As Bill mentioned, we have a big sponsorship through Shopify. And I just want to share with you how you can get involved in the 1MBB program. So who is eligible to participate? Anyone who is an aspiring business owner. Like I said, if you have a seed of an idea, if you're an existing business owner, so we've got 3 folks here: aspiring business owners, existing business owners who want to grow, and successful business owners who want to level up. The services that are offered through 1MBB is a complete service package, and it demonstrates Operations Hope commitment to our clients. This includes the business learning that I mentioned, coaching opportunities, as well as Shopify's free 120-day trial to 1MBB clients, including e-commerce business learning. So 1MBB is important, as we talked about before, because we really believe that the world needs more voices, more diverse voices in commerce, and it's better for everyone. That's exactly what 1MBB is all about. We believe that 1MBB plays a critical role in helping to open more doors and remove the barriers for entrepreneurs, especially those who face systemic barriers. You can sign up if you're interested under www.operationhope.org/1MBB, and it will give you all the information that you need. Back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Jessica. And I will put that, I'll put that link that Jessica mentioned in the chat so that everyone can see that. And I think one of the points that Jessica made is this number of Black entrepreneurs that are sole proprietorships. So it's about 96% of those businesses are sole proprietorships. Now, obviously with COVID, there has been an awful lot of discussion about what about the PPP program? Well, obviously, if you're a sole proprietorship, you don't qualify for that. So we're trying to make sure that 1MBB and the coaching staff that we have at Operation Help can help as many businesses as possible be as successful as possible in these challenging times. But as I said, I'll put that in the link. I wanted to turn it over now to State Senator James Sanders. Senator Sanders, I know we have worked with you in the past, admire the work that you're doing, and would love to get your thoughts on ways that businesses can grow and thrive, not just in New York City, but across the country from your experience.
Well, I thank you, and it's been a joy to work with you. It is in these challenging times, partnership is what you're going to have. I sit as the chair of banking for New York State, and I can tell you from conversations with the Federal Reserve, from conversations with the New York State Bankers Association and other organizations, including our dear friends in the Black Chamber of Commerce, that the prime issue that we're really addressing is access to capital. Even after we're well-trained, even after we have a great idea and location, we're talking of problems with access to capital. I'm working on going around the state to do a banking tour. I'll do it physically after the weather warms up, and COVID cools down. But we are going to do some virtual hearings on these issues to see how can we strengthen the CRA, how can we strengthen the different tools that organizations like yourself have. It is critical to work together, and I encourage everyone to figure out new partners.
I can't hear you.
MARLS is doing is fantastic. It just shows why they
what
are.
Time what time works
Excuse me,
for you?
Senator.
I'm usually free
If you, hey, participants, if you could put your phones on mute so we can hear the remarks, that would be great. Thank you so much. Sorry, Senator, didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted everyone to hear your message.
Well, I understand. I was getting interested in what they were saying after a while. That was a joke, of course. So under those conditions, we have to ensure that working together, we're not going to get out of this one alone. Anyone who is not part of an organization is foolish. If there are businesses out there in my local district that are not part of MARLS, may I encourage you strongly to become part of this very worthy organization. And I thank Latoya Benjamin for bringing us all together today. So in the days to come, I want to see how can we use the resources of New York State to work with Operation Hope and other organizations to see about building back Black businesses. The Federal Reserve of New York study that you were speaking of, sir, was from August of 2020. They predicted that around 40% of Black businesses nationwide would be defunct. I would argue that that number by now is close to 60, perhaps 70%, which means that we're in a world of pain. I know a little of this. I am the father of MWBE, Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprises, the law that allows Blacks to and people of color and women to compete in New York State. So having said those things, I believe that it's time to really understand more of the program that you're offering and ways that we can work together. And I pledge that I'm going to do everything in my power to work with you and not just to bring it to New York City. If you're interested in bringing it to the rest of the state, then we should have further conversations because I can ensure that that happens.
That sounds terrific, Senator. Thank you so much again for your really insightful words today. It would be disappointing to hear that the number is higher than 40%, and 60 even makes a more dire situation. But I think working together, not just in New York State, but across the country, hopefully we can find ways to try to address the fundamental issues that are impacting Black entrepreneurs and Black businesses. And you mentioned access to capital as one of them, and certainly we're working to find ways to increase that. Senator Comrie, I think you've been able to join us, and hopefully if you can hear us, we'd love to turn the floor over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's hard to follow. James Sanders laid it out pretty clearly. I don't really need to say anything else but amen to what he said: access to capital, the ability to navigate government, the ability to make sure that we create opportunities for our Black businesses. I have to say that I was around when MARLS first was invented, and Sister Runcie and her team has expanded it to a major organization. But I would echo what Senator Sanders said: any business in this area in Queens should want to be part of MARLS, and working with them as they continue to expand their outreach and opportunities and create a resource bank for people as well. So, I'm all into making sure that we do everything we can to save our Black businesses and to work with Black businesses. We have had workshops for people as well, working with the senator, working with Senator Sanders, working with Sister Runcie, working with Latoya Benjamin, working with Assemblymember Anderson and everyone else, and the great Harry Wells, who nobody does it better than Harry Wells. Is the York College Small Business Development Center is one of the best in the state. And, he's been, and he and his team have been excellent at it, but they need more funding so that they can continue to do their work too, and more resources so that they can bring on more staff to meet the needs. So, but it's important that, we do everything. I'm glad that Project Hope is working with MARLS, and I would hope that, we can continue to find ways to make sure that every business in Southeast Queens is aware of this synergy that's happening, so we can keep them in business, we can promote them and expand their business opportunities as well. So I'm in for anything that needs to be done. I will be there working along with this entire team. I don't know Jenna and Jessica, so excuse me for not citing you out directly. Maybe I do know you on Zoom. It's hard to tell who people are sometimes, but I'm all in to do whatever we can to make sure that we have a package that can help small businesses. And in my opportunity as chair of the Corporations, Commissions, and Authorities Committee in the Senate, we are pushing to make sure that small businesses are given opportunities by the state agencies, especially under my purview, which are the MTA and Port Authority, making sure that small businesses get more opportunities and more contracts from the state as well. So, we're looking to make sure that happens. We're encouraging folks to bid out at the Port Authority for opportunities that are out there, because the JFK and LaGuardia and the entire Port Authority network is constantly evolving and expanding. And we're looking to make sure that the minority businesses can understand that they have opportunities there as well. So, we're gonna do everything we can to raise the profile and to create the resources and the links to promote the MARLS program, to promote opportunities for businesses to continue to find ways to survive, and to give them the necessary links to ensure that everyone can thrive even within this difficult period that we're in. And I want to thank Annette Runcie. I try to do everything that she tells me to do, and try to do everything that that she tells me to do on behalf of saving businesses in our community. Thank you very much.
Senator
Well,
Comrie, go ahead, Janae.
We first have to thank you for that strong Black History Month painting portrait canvas in the background of you.
Thank you.
You could tell that you are there for your community, and we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Senator Comrie, thanks for your remarks. And I think you raised an excellent point about the end about Black businesses and bidding on contracts. One of the things we're hoping to, and I know Jessica touched on this briefly, is at the conclusion of the 1MBB program, and this is a 10-year initiative to empower 1 million Black businesses across the country. But as people go through the program, as businesses go through the program, we're asking them to become part of this alumni network. So even if there is a small Black business that might not be of a sufficient size to compete for a contract, like an MTA contract or a contract at one of the airports, hopefully partnering with other Black businesses in the same line of business, that coming together, those businesses might be able to reach a critical mass to compete on those contracts effectively. So there really is going to be strength in numbers, not only individual learning, but also learning across different verticals so that those companies can come together and then start to compete effectively for those types of supply contracts. So thanks for making that excellent point.
Thank you. And as you know, MARLS has an excellent template that has done that for a bid at the Port Authority, and with Brother Wells' help making that happen, that's something that we started. So if any, since this is a press conference and it's going out to the world, if you're a Black business in Queens, we already have the example right at MARLS on how you can synergize, find common ground between businesses, because we have 2 businesses that have done it, and they won a contract out at the Port Authority. And within 10 years, they're going to be the primary food vendor out at the Port Authority. That's my prediction that I'm prognosticating right now today. I know they said it as well, but I believe it that it's actually going to happen. Sorry, my phone's ringing.
No worries. That's great. And we hope that there are more success stories like that coming out of 1MBB going forward.
Right. But I just want to say for the public that's listening, the examples are here at MARLS. It's another reason why you should attend MARLS meetings and lock up and synergize with them. Synergize, listen to me. I've been talking all day. You should create a opportunity to be part of the MARLS family and understand that there's strength and unity. As we've tried to do in Southeast Queens, and Brother Anderson will tell you he's a new assembly member, but we welcomed him into the Southeast Queens electeds because it's important that we work together to show unity so we can get these big projects done. So, and in the business community as well, it's important that we work together and you can find, even if you're in the same business as somebody else, there's still things that we can do in cooperative economics and sharing resources to make all of us better. So I believe in MARLS wholeheartedly. I've said that from day one when they started, and I would encourage business people to join MARLS because it's an effective group. Thank you.
I think after that, Senator Comrie, there's only one word that's fitting, and that's amen. So thank you for saying that. Let me turn the microphone then over to Assemblymember Anderson. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on how to best grow Black businesses, not only in Queens and in New York State, but your thoughts about how we might be able to do it across the country.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. Thank you for having me on here. Thank you, Latoya, for your incredible leadership with Annette Runcie and all the members of MARLS for having the foresight and vision to pull in Operation Hope so that we could spur our community with hope and invest in Black businesses that struggle to get themselves established, struggle to maintain, and struggle to expand in capacity. And of course, I want to thank my colleague, Senator Sanders, for his unwavering commitment to small businesses, but also the important elements that Senator Comrie and Senator Sanders and the rest of my colleagues have worked on over the years to address the underlying element of why businesses struggle, which is lack of access to capital. Lack of access to resources, lack of access to bonding, all right, so that folks can bond into larger contracts and expand their capacity. These are the things, Bill, that we're talking about that are hurdles to Black businesses growing and expanding as they currently exist. And this Operation Hope, now more than ever, to expand over 1 million Black businesses across the country is critically important. I'm sorry, I'm on a press conference, I'll call you back. Critically important to making sure that businesses are expanded across the United States, but we have to prioritize what capital looks like. And I have a duty and responsibility to do that here in Southeast Queens, where it's a bastion of Black families that live here and have grown here and really want to see their communities expand here. If we're talking about job creation, if we're talking about investment, it starts with Black businesses and making sure that they can stabilize themselves. I haven't announced this yet publicly, but I was just appointed to serve as chairman of the subcommittee of banks and underserved neighborhoods for the state assembly, so that we really could look at ways of forcing our state chartered banks to do the right thing, state chartered banks and financial institutions to do the right thing. And lend, and make sure that we're giving resources to small businesses, but also making sure that we prioritize parts of the district, parts of Southeast Queens that are underbanked, and that's what we need to work on. And also making sure, as it relates to the next step, that we're preparing our businesses for larger contracts, for expansion, for growth, not just survival, but growth. So, Bill, I really appreciate you all for this opportunity to make sure that we help Southeast Queens grow, and you have the support of myself and my office, and the resources of our office to really help folks on the ground like Ms. Annette and like members of MARLS, like Latoya, and of course my colleagues who are committed to this work. So I'm looking forward to using my new chairmanship to work with the chair of banks in the Senate, as well as in the Assembly, to really fight to do justice for folks here in Southeast Queens. So thank you so much for having me today.
Assemblymember Anderson, thank you. It's really great to hear your comments. Congratulations on the new appointment. We have been working with banks across the country for a number of years. So if there's anything that we can share from our toolkit, we'd be happy to do that and see how that can help your work in New York State. Obviously, it is vitally important to have electeds on the side of Black businesses as systemic change is trying to happen in our cities and in our states across the country. And we're really fortunate that the three of you were able to join us today. So thanks very much for that. And we will certainly, we'll be in touch, and together, hopefully we can put together a solution that is going to address exactly as you said, Assemblymember Anderson, that not just the creation of more Black businesses and the increased resilience of Black businesses, but the creation of more jobs in those Black businesses, which become the pillars of the communities and then permit for intergenerational transfer of wealth and making the whole community and our entire American society stronger. So vitally important, and you hit on all those great points. So thanks very much for that.
And Bill, let me just be clear. Small businesses is the backbone of our economy. And if we empower small businesses, we're creating more jobs, we're creating more economic development. And we've got to look at that, look at it in that lens as well.
That's absolutely right. Okay, so shifting again, thank you to the electeds who were able to participate in this call. We value your perspective. I wanted to now turn it over to some of the business leaders and those who are working with the business leaders. And I'd like to ask ask Harry Wells, the director of SBDC at York College, to take the mic. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Bill, sorry about that. Just a bit change in that setup. So we want to thank you so much. Thank you to all the elected officials that just got an opportunity to speak. At this point, we actually want to start off with Ms. Runcie, who is the president and CEO of the MARLS Association. For several years, MARLS has been the foundation of micro and small businesses here throughout Southeast Queens. We have worked collaboratively with the public sector and the private sector to put a strong framework together that will sustain our local businesses here in Southeast Queens. And this partnership between Operation Hope and MARLS and SBDC is just a match made in heaven, and definitely would like to acknowledge Ms. Runcie for her leadership. And if you could please just share with the audience what MARLS is and how this partnership will ensure that we will meet that goal of adding value to 1 million Black businesses over the next 10 years. Ms. Runcie.
Ms. Runcie, over to you. There you go.
Okay, I was muted. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again, LaToya, for connecting MARLS to the Operation Hope. I'm just so excited about this partnership that we're starting here. It's a pleasure to meet you, Bill, Jessica. I'm excited to really be on board and hopefully partnership to making things happen in Southeast Queens. Again, my name is Annette Runcie, as LaToya said. I have been a business owner in Southeast Queens for over 15 years. My husband and I own 2 businesses in Southeast Queens, and we have I have just recently collaborated with the American Association, Michael Duncan, in receiving the bid here at JFK Airport. So we are business people in Southeast Queens. So we understand the struggles and the issues of the businesses in Southeast Queens. So one of the things that Mike Duncan and I wanted to do was as we looked at the landscape, this was like 2016 when we started MARLS, and we looked at the landscape of businesses then, it was tough then. There was a lot of monies from an African-American household that are coming in the community, but they were also leaving at high rates out of the community, right? So a lot of the Black business corridors were, shutters down. They were really fighting hard in 2020, which just made things even worse, right? And so one of the things that MARLS initiated back in early March of 2020, we partnered with the Black Institute to kind of look at the impact that it's having on Black businesses. And one of the things that we got from our survey was a lot of the stuff that you guys already talked about. We already knew this, but we wanted to collect the data because data matters so that we're able to solidify what we thought. And a lot of it is what Jessica talked about. One of the biggest issues for Black businesses is, of course, access to capital. And a lot of it stems on having the proper infrastructure, right? Or what we call financial structure, the correct account management. So a lot of our businesses are sole proprietors. A lot of them may or may not do their tax returns, or, might not have a good, might not be able to pay an accountant, to do their taxes. And so the financial structures that they have, it might not be as strong in order for them to access capital. And then the other issue was, how do they access contracts? That was another big issue that came up in the survey. That was, how do I access contracts? One of the things, of course, you talked about as the pillars is collaboration. Here at MARLS, we've been talking about collaboration from day one. How do we come together, collaborate, so now we have the capacity. And so that's one of the things that we teach and train within MARLS. And so Mike Duncan and I led by example by coming together to bid for the Port Authority cafeteria at Building 14, and we were the successful bidder. So we are showing and leading by example how powerful the work of collaboration can be and capacity can be. So the third area where businesses struggle with, and it's all included in a lot of the pillars that Jessica shared, was really how do they grow and customers. There's a definite digital divide in our community, being able to do digital marketing effectively so that they're able to grow and gain more clients and client base. And so those are the three things that they struggle with. And so MARLS this year actually shifted our vision, where we're focused on how do we provide the right training, business development training, vetting process for our business members so that they can have access to capital, to clients, and to contracts. So that is our main focus and a vision of MARLS moving into 2021. And it captures a lot of the things that Operation Hope just talked about with the pillar. So I'm so excited to be partnering with, 1 million, Black businesses, with Operation Hope, because it definitely supports what MARLS is about. And we definitely can see this come into fruition. We can definitely see we making this happen if we're partnering together with Operation Hope. So I'm very, very excited.
Wow, absolutely incredible. Thank you, Ms. Runcie, for those remarks. I think you are sort of a living example with your 15 years of experience in running two businesses of one of the pillars that Jessica was talking about in her presentation around mentorship, because you have been there, you have done that, and you, in that type of role, and we're trying to assemble a team of mentors across the country who can say to young business owners or entrepreneurs, here are the challenges you're likely to encounter. Think about those challenges now, and let's put solutions in place to deal with those challenges. Because things like digital marketing, people may think about marketing, but they may not think about how do I get onto a digital platform. And that's why we're really excited about the Shopify partnership as well, because for someone who may not have the resources to set up a bricks and mortar location, because that's expensive to find the place, build it out, stock it appropriately. If they have goods and services that they can sell through a Shopify platform, on an e-commerce platform, you're reaching a great audience, or maybe even a bigger audience that you could in a physical location, and you may be able to get a business to grow that way. But again, a young entrepreneur or early business owner wouldn't know that without the advice and expertise of someone who has been there and done that, like you, Ms. Runcie. So thanks very much for sharing your observations with us today. LaToya, is it all right we kick it over to Mr. Wells? Okay, so Mr. Wells, over to you. We'd love to hear your thoughts and perspective.
Just unmute, Harry.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
We can.
My name is Harry Wells. I'm the director of the York College Small Business Development Center. York College Small Business Development Center has a 31-year history. We've been in York College for 31 years. Before I became the director of the Small Business Center, I owned my own business for 25 years. I made money, lost money. I was in graduate school. I decided to start my own business. I was cocky. I thought I knew everything, lost all my money. And my late wife at that time almost put me out. Well, I had to struggle to recover. Even though I had a degree in economics, I had to go back and really study financial projections, accounting, QuickBooks, so I could develop my skills. So I'm glad to be hooked back up with Operation Hope. You had an operation up in Harlem on 135th Street, I believe. And I used to go up there as an SBDC advisor clients to talk about how to start a business. I think there's tremendous potential in Southeast Queens. I've seen no place like it. There's a lot of opportunity. You have airports, you have this, that, or the other. So I think we can make a real mark in Southeast Queens. And I think there's room at the cross for everybody. It's not going to just be the SBDC by itself. It's not going to be New York City Business Solution or MARLS. We all have to collaborate because we're tackling a big problem. Right now, the York Small Business Development Center, we're working on two initiatives. One is the New York State Empire State Development Initiative. New York Empire State gave us money, gave money to all the state SBDCs. We have 24 locations in New York State. And we are all doing an e-commerce training series. So tonight at 7 p.m., we will have business owners, merchants, etc. They come together. We spent 2 weeks, last 2 weeks, we spent on learning Shopify. And it's taught by this lady who's a local MWBE. And we had 35 people there, and it's very productive. That's being sponsored by the York College Business and Economic Development Department and the York SBDC. So it's a collaboration between us and the business department, because one of our objectives is to get the York College and the York College School of Business to be more active in the community. So we are co-sponsoring with them. Some of the professors have sat in on the training and they learn a lot too. So we have a 5-week training program that's on e-commerce, Shopify, and other channels. And then after that, we're going to continue with one-on-one technical training. The person who's leading the course, the trainer, will also be available until the end of the year to provide technical one-on-one assistance. Thus far, we've been able to hire four student interns, York College students, who would, between classes, if you don't understand or you don't understand the point, the students could work with you one-to-one. How do I know that's right? Because every time I get caught up at home and I don't understand something, I ask my grandson, how do I do this and how do I do that? Because the young people, they really know this. They really know computer, etc. So we have this ongoing e-commerce training program. We invite you to attend. When we start it back up, we invite other organizations to collaborate with us on this. Additionally, this summer, we're going to have a York College Financial Management Boot Camp. And it's to train businesses how to recover and grow from COVID-19. And that's going to be sponsored by the York College Business and Economics Department and the York College SBDC. And we're going to have business faculty members, SBDC advisors, and student interns recover from COVID-19. How to get their books in order, how to understand their cash flow. I sit in on a webinar a couple of years ago with MWBEs who are contractors, who had contracts from the Port Authority, And a lot of them, some of them were doing millions of dollars a year in contracts. And then they suffer setbacks. One was doing $12 million a year. Now they went down to $8 million a year. And what was the cause of that? They did not understand their cash flow. They did not understand financial management. So speaking from experience, someone who lost all his money and had to beg to stay in the house, this thing of how you control your money, how you control your financing is important. So we want to make York College an anchor institution. So we put the priority right now working with a lot of these faculty members. You know, a lot of these business faculty, they're up in cloud nine. So we designed a program that's more practical and something that they could do to work one-to-one with business owners and have the student intern help these people. In the last 3 years, we've generated over $76 million in loans, capital investments to our clients. And how do we do that? We were last in the state, but we went up pretty high. So we not only dealt with bank financing, we had to learn new market tax credit. Latoya came to some of our workshops and we talked about new market tax credit. We even did EB-5 financing. So financial sophistication, so we could take advantage of various avenues of funding. So again, I look forward to reuniting or connecting with Operation Hope. I hope to work with the rest of you guys. And I hope York College could be considered as one of your partners and one of your, as an anchor institution for all the great things we could do in Southeast Queens. Thank you.
Wow. What I don't know what to say after that, Harry. That was impressive and touches on a lot of great points. Obviously, the mentorship point, because you too, like Annette, have been there and done that. The work that you and the students have done at York sounds exceptionally impressive and is one of the cornerstones that we're looking for by working with colleges and universities, HBCUs across the country to try to get them involved, because they obviously have strong ties into the local business community. And also, quite importantly, they have the trust. So they have the ability to encourage Black entrepreneurs and Black business owners to participate. I think your comment also, Harry, about the internship piece is vitally important as well, because a lot of these business owners may not have the same skills that your grandchildren do and need the intern to help them, get QuickBooks set up or help them think about a digital marketing platform. So creating those internship opportunities where we can connect businesses with interns, or more importantly, in some cases, connecting them with an area-specific business specialist. So if they have an accounting issue, let's get them in front of an accountant who, for a couple of hours, can give them free advice on how do you deal with that. If they need more assistance beyond that, we can work with that as well. But at least there's a starting point. And I don't know if Jessica made this point, and if you did, Jess, I'm sorry to repeat it, but our services are at no cost to the business owner or the entrepreneur. And I want to make sure that that's really loud and clear. We are supported by our partners, but to the actual business owner or business entrepreneur, our services are free of charge. But it sounds like what's happening at York, and congratulations on the $76 million that you've helped your clients raise over the last 3 years. That is super impressive. We need more people like you, Harry, and we need more people like what you're doing at York. And hopefully the other 26 business centers across New York State will learn from you and be able to replicate your success. Latoya, any comments before we turn it over to Janae?
No, awesome. We can continue. And thank you, Harry and Annette, and to the elected officials that are still on. As you guys can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have a really good shot at making this goal a reality. And what you're hearing from is all of the leaders, both in the pub, from our elected officials, from our business owners, even to our advocates, that we are going to collaboratively work with our partners to ensure that we make this a great success. Bill?
All right. Thanks, Latoya. I appreciate that. And thank you for pulling everybody together. I want to turn it over for the last few minutes to Operations Hope's SVP of Government Affairs and Public Policy, and that is Janae Roscoe. Janae has a super impressive background, worked in the Clinton White House, and has been our point person for federal issues and state and city relations for the past, I don't know, I'm not going to say how many years, Janae, but you've been with us a long time, and we really appreciate everything you do. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and perspective, and maybe you can share some of the things that we're working on at a national level.
Certainly. I don't mind. I've been here 20 years for Operation Hope, and I'm based out of Washington, D.C., but I get the pleasure of working with elected officials across the country. And it's really an honor to work with you all. Tony Gaddy put in the chat, and I just want to acknowledge him for the upstate New York Chamber of Commerce that has officially reached out per today's press conference and event to sign up to be a new partner with 1MBB. And we look forward to working with him and everyone from this call that wants to work together with our team around a commitment in support of our work there in the state of New York, and certainly in the New York City area. Jessica Bergeron, who you heard from earlier, she is our director, and her email address was provided in the chat part. But for anyone who is interested, we will definitely be following up with you directly. Thank you for your email, Tony Gaddy. And for anyone else who's listening, his question again was, from an advocacy organization perspective, how can we get on board and support 1MBB? And it's just as simple as reaching out to us, working together with you and on a commitment that you would want to make around small businesses and entrepreneurs' participation in this 10-year campaign in helping businesses grow over the next 10 years in your jurisdiction. I wanted to close it off and also give, an opportunity for people, if there were any questions or any comments from anything that you heard today, to bring it in around the Freedmen's Bank legacy. Founder, Chairman, CEO John Hope Bryant started an ambitious campaign when we were celebrating the 150th anniversary of the creation of the Freedmen's Bank on March 3rd in 1865. Not surprising to New Yorkers that the first headquarters was in New York City. The first branch of the Freedmen's Bank was in New York City. And the concept was, after freed men and women after the Civil War were given the accessibility to capital, President Lincoln at the time created a Freedmen's Bank at the request of ministers and leaders in New York City. John Alvaroy, to be exact, who was on a campaign to say, hey, we want new free Americans, Black Americans, to have access to capital. And so a bank was created called the Freedmen's Bank. And over 150 years later, the whole access to capital conversation is still here amongst us. And so building on the Freedmen's Bank legacy is the 1MBB, the 1 Million Black Business Program, to still try to drive access to capital opportunities to small business and entrepreneurs, and specifically to Black businesses, and for the creation of Black businesses and helping Black businesses and entrepreneurs over the next decade to reach that goal. And so I wanted to make sure during Black History Month that we closed out with this, giving you a little bit of history around the Freedmen's Bank. Our website is www.freedmensbank.org. I'll put it in the chat as well so that people can have access to it. But this is a situation where Operation Hope is working very hard with stakeholders across the country to not just state we need to provide access to capital to small businesses and entrepreneurs, but we actually need to work together to drive those revenue opportunities into existence, from policy to reality. And so that is what 1MBB is all about. And we are so excited that you guys got a chance to hear from Jessica Bergeron, who's our director. She's doing a dynamic job. She's extremely busy these days with the interest that we have here in this space, but we're very much looking forward to working together And we're very thankful to our stakeholders in New York City and MARLS for the commitment effort here with this event. I will turn it over back to our host if there's any questions or any comments. But again, I want to say on behalf of our founder, chairman, CEO, John Hope Bryant, Jennifer Wolford, who is our COO, Brian Betts, who's our president and CFO, Mary Haggerty Ursum, who is the president of Hope Partnerships, and Lance Triggs, Noreen Wilson, and our entire New York City and state delegation, who are financial well-being coaches, who actually, while we're doing this virtual session, are doing the stakeholder work in the community throughout New York, helping people around their economic issues. And I think we got some questions in the comment queue.
We do. We have a question from Janet Nation saying her business is registered in Long Island. And would she have access to our support services? And the answer to that question is yes. You can go onto the 1MBB website that was mentioned in the chat and certainly access the services there. Are there any other questions? You want to put those in the chat? While you're doing that, I just wanted to acknowledge Latoya Benjamin, because it really takes a magnet to pull people together. And she was the magnet behind this and got everyone together in a relatively short order. Harry is showing his support here, but Latoya, we could not have done this without you. And thank you very, very much. Let me just also add that we are open to your ideas. Harry mentioned things like internships, and we were fortunate. I know Jessica and I and Janae were going through your list, Harry, and checking off, yeah, we got that covered, but that doesn't mean we have everything covered. So if you have an idea that you think would be helpful for Black businesses, please send it our way. We're building this program to last for a decade, and we want to make sure that we're starting out the right way. So we're open to any great ideas that you have and welcome those and strongly encourage those. Finally, I wanted to just say thank you to all of you for participating and encouraging you, because you have the trust of your community members. You may know of an entrepreneur or a reluctant entrepreneur who says, I'm not sure I'm ready to do this. We'd ask you to encourage them to join us at 1MBB. There are different pathways that they can take. There's no one size fits all. We have coaches. We have online programs for someone who wants to do it, by themselves, self-directed. We have larger group cohort programs. We have business specialists in different areas. So whatever their particular need is, we think we can get you matched or get that person matched up. And so we encourage as many businesses as possible to register for the 1MBB program. Latoya, Janae, Jessica, any other final comments?
Awesome.
Is it another question in the chat or queue?
No more questions.
The question is, are nonprofit educational groups eligible to join? And I'm going to turn that over to Jessica to answer that question.
We just had we just made a recent announcement that we'll have a little bit more information. I'll create a fact sheet that I can share with the participants, but the short answer is yes. There is a longer answer to this. And so I really encourage you to email me at jessica.bergeron@operationhope.org to find out some more information.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jessica. Latoya, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And Jessica, you could please somebody drop her email in the chat as well so we can have the community write that down. I want to thank you so much, Bill, Jessica, and Janae. This has been
Thank you.
We are getting so much feedback. And again, this is an example of real work and the type of collaboration and effort that it's going to take from the public and the private sector to make our economy recover from this pandemic. So I'm excited. You can count on Southeast Queens to lead by example in our market. I would be remiss. I want to just thank Operation Hope always for your leadership. Throughout the years, we have provided several training classes with you guys from financial literacy, access to capital, things of that nature, grant writing. So we would not be able to do that without leadership. So thank you so much. I want to thank our elected officials for coming around. I know their schedules are really busy, but they said that they were not going to miss this conversation for the world, and that they're extremely dedicated to the growth of small businesses and particularly Black-owned businesses here in our district. So please shout out to Senator Comrie, Senator Sanders, and the youngest, he made history, the youngest state assembly member in New York State, and he's from right in our backyard of Southeast Queens. That is Assembly Member Khaleel Anderson, and congratulations on your chairmanship, sir. I want to thank Ms. Runcie from the MARLS Association for her leadership. Look forward to working with you, and of course the historic OG from LA, Mr. Harry Wells. He's been in this space for a long time. I consider him one of my mentors in economic development. I lean on him for his guidance and his expertise to help build our community. And I definitely want to shout out SEQ News, who is streaming this live on their platform, which is also a Black-owned media platform right here in Southeast Queens. So we are leading by example here, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to thank each and every last one of you, and we look forward to working with you throughout this 10 years to make this goal reality. All right. So with
Thanks.
that, have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take good care. Bye-bye.